Alright, once you install Roblox Studio, you click on New, you're going to find a lot of different options here. Depending on the type of game you're going to build, some of these are great options to start with. You don't want to stick with exactly what's there because you're going to end up having the same starting game as everyone else. For demonstration purposes, I'm just going to choose, let's say, just a base plate so we have a spawn point. It's going to be your basic base plate, nothing special, no terrain on the bottom, just a spawn plate. Basically, I'm going to go over some of the UI stuff right here with you guys. For starters, you can move around, look using your keyboard keys, WASD, or the arrow keys, up, down, left, right. Right-clicking the mouse wheel, and then holding those keys, you can spin circles around points. Rolling the mouse wheel, you can zoom in and out. Right now, world looks endless, but it's actually a base plate. It will stop and start at certain corners. Currently, since there are no borders, if you were to play the game, you would just fall off and die after a certain amount of meters of falling. Okay, back over here to our spawn point. Okay, starting off with the first UI element you're going to need to know is play. Now, normally you could just click this button here, click this button up here. Either of them is going to launch you into a demo version of your game. Right now we have nothing in there. We're just going to spawn in. It's going to be us. It's going to use your current character in Roblox. Right now I got Mr. Bacon Hair Guy with the motorcycle shirt. You can move around as if it's a normal game. Again, there's nothing here but the base player. Doing the same thing, either here or here, you can stop it and exit out. Super easy. Now there's a few other things that you can do. Now see how there's play? You can click on the arrow and you're going to see play here and run. Play is if you want to spawn as if you're a player going into the game. As you notice, it spawned us on the spawn point as if we were starting the game as a new player. The other options we have is play here and run. Run will actually just run the game, and it allows you to observe what's going on. Let's say maybe you have an obby and you have pieces falling, disappearing. You want to know what happens. Watching it with run, you can see if they're falling out of the sky as soon as your game starts. Maybe you have a shooting game with AI. Maybe the AI is doing weird things, ending up in weird spots, driving vehicles, flying helicopters, climbing trees, who knows what. You can go around with this, run, your game will be running, and you can go around and view the living world, see what's happening in your game live. Alright, stopping it again, and the third one is play here. Now that option is, let's say you don't want to spawn at the spawn point, but you built something way off on your map somewhere else. Let's pretend we've got an item over here. You don't want to spawn at the spawn point, you want to spawn right here so you can test your new item. Hitting play here will spawn you at that exact point where you moved your camera to. Bam, there we are. As you see, not near the spawn point. Again, stopping. Okay, that shows you the basics of starting and stopping the game. Let's go back over to our spawn point. Let me show you something important as well. We haven't added nothing to the game, but let's say we did. You're going to want to know how to save your game. Up here in the corner, we have File. Go to File, and you would do Save to File to allow you to save it on your personal computer. Let's say you don't currently have the internet. You want to save it till later. Maybe you're on a laptop and you're not connected to the internet. That would be your best option, is Save to File, Open from File. That would open it locally on your computer. Down here we have Save to Roblox and Publish to Roblox. Now there's a couple of good things about this. They're going to save it online, so if your computer ever messes up, your game's always safe. It's on Roblox's servers. You can always go on there, download a copy of it again, or even just open it up and work on it. Essentially, it's saved on their servers like a cloud. Publish to Roblox is actually when you change your game from private to public, and you publish it, people will actually be able to join your game. Not necessarily that it's going to pop up on their list, you know, as a game to play, but if they see you playing it, they'll be able to join it. If you give them a link to join it, they'll be able to join it. But until your game gets popular, more people play it, more people upvote it, favorite it, it's not going to start showing up on people's lists. But it can happen, definitely. All right, let me show you another set. Okay, so here's an important part. So you're going to have game settings, and this is one of the things I showed you save for. You can't actually go into the settings and change anything until you save your game to Roblox for the very first time, essentially publishing it. Right now it's set to private automatically by default. Let's save it to Roblox. I want you to make a game name. Let's just give it S game. We don't want to write a description right now. Creator, me, it'll show your name on it. Genre, we're not going to make anything. It's set to everything pretty much. We don't worry about consoles because you got to do special controls for those. VR as well. Team Create just allows more people other than you to work on it if you invite and allow them, give them access to do so. All right, we're going to hit save. It has now published it. Hitting save saves a local copy of it on your computer. And now we have everything open back up again, but we have a published version on Roblox, which I'll show you guys later. All right, we want to change this from play here back to play. Just want to test everything's working again. All right, perfect. Stop. Now you can actually go in and change the settings. Here we have permissions. You can actually change it to public. Monetization that allows you to add badges, packs, different things in the game that people can buy so you can earn Robux on your game. Paid access, don't worry about that. That's pretty much, if you turn that on, people won't be able to get in unless they pay to get into your game. There's a few games that you have to buy. You know, you pay pretty much a one-time fee and you get to play that game. That's what you would use that for. I don't suggest that because your game will never take off and get popular because nobody's ever going to buy it. Private servers, don't worry about that as well. Nothing here you need to mess with. Just leave all this alone until you get more advanced. Security, a lot of times you're going to need to turn these two on when you want to start using advanced scripting and different things that are going to have a much better quality game. We'll just turn them on for now. Places. This don't worry about, but allows you to create multiple, let's say, Roblox worlds and connect them together. Localization, that's all about languages. You don't worry about that right off the bat. Avatar, this is usually important, especially when you start adding certain mods and scripts and different stuff that other players have made into the game. This is your character types. R6 and R15. The easy way to explain that is that's how many body parts are on the character. R6 is going to be the most basic square type to Roblox character. R15 is going to have basically 6 body parts, you know, leg, arm, chest, head, you know, pretty much like that, equaling up 6 parts. 15, they go more complicated in having like feet and ankles, upper leg, lower leg, waist, chest, upper arm, lower arm, head, all that. Player choice, it's best to either leave it on player choice or go by the type that you want your game style to be. I say just leave it here at the moment. Don't mess with it. Collision, that's going to be when you start having games where colliding and running into things is an important factor, or a shooting game where you need bullets to hit somebody more realistically. The collision is going to be, is it going to hit the outer, which is the outer edge of the character's model, or the inner of the model? Essentially, there's a hitbox. It's the same across most games, whether it's Roblox or Minecraft or other games. You don't need to change it essentially, but just to say this would be a larger hit area, this would be a smaller hit area. It's usually fair to keep it on the outer, the larger hit area. World, this is going to be presets. Don't change them off the bat until you get used to it, because it's going to change gravity and jump height. As soon as you click on one of these, both of these numbers are going to change. they are going to affect the height you jump, the amount you float, how you fall, a lot of different things. Just don't mess with it off the bat. Learn the game a little bit, how you want it set up, change it as you need later on. Walk speed, everybody understands that. Making this a higher number is going to make your character move quicker, or actually every character in your game move quicker. Lower number, they're going to move slower. I say leave it alone for the start. Again, over here we have collaborative editing that allows other people other than you, with your permission, to work on your server, basically in here, build it along with you. Now, it's not going to mean that they're going to be in this workspace with you building it. You're going to have your downloaded copy, they're going to have their downloaded copy, and when you guys both upload your copies, it's going to combine your work, stacking your updates to have you work together to create and compile a game together over time. I know, lots of big words. Shut down all servers, sometimes you have to do that. Spatial voice, don't worry about that. Just hit save. The few changes we made, they'll be saved in there and be good to go. All right, so right here we have, this is your workspace. Essentially everything you see here, you're going to see it up here. Test game 1, that's the name we gave it. X will close it. Looking around, we have different stuffs up here. It's going to have your toolbox opening and close. This is important. You want to keep that open at most times. You can import 3D models. You can import parts. Let me show you a part import. Let's say right about here. This is something I recommend too. Is if you want to place a part near something, click on that part first so you have it highlighted, essentially saying, I want to place my part here. You're going to go over here to part, drop this down, choose a block. There we go. We have a block in the map. We can grab it, move it around. As you see, by default, we have some options up here. Select, move, scale, rotate. Right now it's on select. All we can do is drag it around. It's at the height of that object we selected, our spawn point. Now let's say we want to move it. We want to bring it up. We want to bring it over. We want to bring it down. Right there, as you see, as it goes clear, it's passing under the ground. At that point, the player's not going to be able to see it. They're not going to be able to manipulate it, do anything with it. You notice the sun going up and down. Your server won't look like this. I have a day and night mod going on. All right, so back over here on this, we look at it. You have other options you can do here too. We have rotate. It's going to give you 3 axes, X, Y, Z. And you're going to see green's going to allow us to spin it in a circle. Voila. Blue's going to allow us to flip it. And red's going to allow us to rotate it. Hard to see at that angle. There you go. And the other one, the more complicated, is scale. Scale allows you to make an object bigger, longer, wider, and even taller. Oh, we wanted to get taller. There we go. Okay, so let's go back to select. Let's move it. Just set it right over here next to our spawn point. As you notice, when you select things, you can see them get highlighted. When you do that, over here you have your properties. That's going to be the things about it. For example, this one's a spawn location. It's labeled as a spawn location. It's got different properties when you scroll up and down. They do different things, from the color, what it does, where it's located. Can you touch it? Can you collide with it? Is it anchored? Anchored meaning, is it stuck in place? Can it be moved around by you? Will it fall on its own? Basically locked into the world. Anchored is super important for parts in your world that you don't want to move anywhere. All right, so let's stop right here, back up. We've already added an object. We don't want to mess with the spawn point. Let's go over here to our block. As you notice over here, this is your Explorer. Everything in your world's going to end up in the Explorer. We have our workspace. That's everything. You can zoom out, highlighted it, come back down here. You can see camera. We don't need to worry about that. That can be deleted in most cases. Terrain, that's the ground here that your whole world sits on. Let me explain that to you real quick. See how we clicked on it, and again down here in properties, we can go down and there's lots of different options here. Let's say we want grass. We'll change the grass material. And let's go to our color. Let's give it a not that color. No. Okay. All right, I chose the wrong one. Sorry. Let's go to base plane. All right, so base plane. You're going to want to go over here. You're going to want to grab a color. It looks good to you. It's kind of ugly for grass. That green looks a little better for grass. All right, and then we go to, right now it's on plastic. You have a shiny, kind of plasticky surface to it. Doesn't look like grass at all. Go over here. We got our color correct. We go to material. We have lots of options here. I'm just to make it easy, I'm going to click on leafy grass. It's going to give us a nice little texture with some grass and some leaves. There we go. Now this stands out really bad. What color do we make that? Maybe a darker green? We're already pretty dark on the greens. Let's go lighter. Oh, that's too light. Ooh, that's not very good looking either. So this is where you can actually modify colors. You can take it here and drag it down the scale. It's going to change all these numbers. Don't worry about those. Essentially, we got a little bit better looking green. All right, this block here. Okay, so remember again, properties. We can go over here, material. Let's make it look like marble. There we go. Let's give it a different color. How about an off black? Let's make it, there we go. Just for demonstration purposes, so you can see some different materials here. Okay, you can always go back, hit play, test, see what we got here. You're going to notice something right off the bat. Watch this. See how we can run into it? We can jump on it. Let me show you something. We hit stop. Remember I was talking about collision earlier? Collision is right here in your properties. We have this selected. See, there's nothing there. You select that, select this. You've got the properties for each item. See, it changes the colors. So let's go over here to this. Now we have something called can collide and can touch. Now the important thing I want to show you is can collide. We take that off. Now look at this. Some models you'll bring into your game from the toolbox, you'll realize. Look at that. Weird, right? All we did was take collide off. Now we bring collide back on. Play. There it is. That's odd, isn't it? It's normally like anchored, almost like it's falling through the world or disappearing, something to pay attention to. So if you ever import a model and you just can't figure out where it is and why it's not there, try that. So we have anchored here as well. Anchored to make sure your model stays where it is. Now we can make a good demo of this right here. So let's take this and go to move. Let's drag it up in the air. And now you can see with anchored on, and then look too, let me show you this too, this is important too. So it's a cast shadow. See that? Notice it? You can make items cast shadows or remove shadows. It adds a lot of realism to the game for stuff. But taking shadows out for things you don't need will actually make a game run faster and smoother on all devices, even slow ones. So let's jump down here and look. We still have this selected. We moved it up there. And we have anchored selected. So hit play, and you're going to see that it stays up in the air. It stays locked in the place like I was explaining. See it is up there? There we go. Up close. Alright, now let me show you something. We're going to go over two things right here. One we already talked about. Right, we're looking at this. We can see it there. Now we're going to take off anchored. Now taking off anchored, and then remember how we said run? We can see what something's doing in a game to figure out why weird things are happening. So let's just do run, and let's see what happens with anchored off of this while it's in the air. Boom, it fell to the ground. Now, if we were to do that in play, so we change this back to play, and it's not anchored anymore, remember. It fell down. Why did it do that? Remember? We took off anchor. So it falls. It's not going to stay up in the sky where we put it. So let's try this, and let me show you this. So we got it anchored right there. Now let's say you want more than one of these. You're going to bring it down. Best to use select. Now right click with your mouse. You're going to have copy. Choose somewhere you want to place it again. You know, it's dark on the screen, bear with me. And hit paste. And we have a second one. Now let's hit move. Let's bring it over this way. And bring this thing down. Is it on the ground? This is a good way to check. See, you can go down and you look, and it's actually not sitting on the ground. Use move and bring it down. And bring this one over. There we go. Hit play. While super simple, it's a basic parkour. A little obby. We got a jump and a jump. Both of these have collide on, both of them have anchored on. We've added a textured color. We've added color to the base plate. Now let me show you another thing. Alright. So over here we have the toolbox. Now these are anything from stuff that you've downloaded, stuff you've made yourself, and uploaded models, plugins, and other things that people have uploaded. So let's just type in tree. And there's a few good ones here. Let's go for a realistic tree. Here we go. Alright, we got a tree. And I'd always check this too. Is it actually on the ground? It looks like it is. If you're ever unsure, you could always just go to move and just bring it down just a tad anyway. When you're 100% sure that thing's in the ground. And always remember what I said about models. This one we can't check it there, so let's go up here and we're going to look and click on tree, art, and we want to make sure that it's anchored and collide is on. Anchored is on. That one doesn't have the collide option. Let's go into the tree and look at leaf. Anchored. Can collide. We'll turn it on. Trunk. Can collide is on. Anchored is on. Okay. So now let's just take this whole thing, right click on it, copy, and let's paste it in. There we go. Now this one's going to be up in the air because we use that block as a placing point. Let's go look at it, back up. We're going to use the arrow, bring it down, and there we go. Okay. Let's just see how it looks. Alright, we got our spawn point, we got 2 jumping points, we have a few trees that we downloaded from the toolbox, and the trees have collision on. Okay, shadows as well. See, it's got some realism going on. I do highly recommend that day and night cycle. You got some realism going on with the stars, the skies, the daylight, the nighttime, the moving sun and moon. Alright. Okay, so another thing that I should bring up, a good point, is up here along the top, you should go over to View, and you have Output, and you have, what's the other one I want to see? Script Analysis. I recommend having these open when you're designing your game and testing your game. Go back to Home, hit Run, and if you ever have any problems, they will pop up down here in the bottom. As you see right here, it's saying it removed viruses, but those are false flags. That thing, it doesn't act right all the time. Okay. And again, working perfect. Awesome. All right, we're going to hit stop. Remember what I said? You go back to File, you hit Publish to Roblox. you would do publish to Roblox as if you want to do something different, like saving multiple versions so you have backups, or changing the name or doing different things like that, or creating a new game. All right, so we're going to hit test game 1, overwrite, and now we've saved it. And it's published online, but I believe it's private. I don't think we turned it public. If we did, other people can join it. If we share the link, or if they see us playing it, they can join us. That's about it for the first video. Essentially the basics of the UI and how to place items and change them. There you go. Hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned, more videos coming soon.